Everybody good on 8-1? All right, what about 8-2? 31 from 8-2? Okay. All right. Okay, let me do 8. So I'm going to go to 8-2, and I'm going to do number 31. So this is number 31 from 8-2. All right, I'm going to mute your microphones just so we don't hear everybody's background. Yes. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, say that again?
Can you do number 27?
27? From 8-1?
Yeah, for 8-2.
From 8-2? Also number 27. Okay. All right. All right, I'll do number 27 first. Number 27, I'm going to draw a picture. So A, B, C, and we were given that AB was 1240, AC is 876, and BC is 965. Okay, everybody good so far? Everybody can hear me? You can see my screen before I keep going? All right. I'm going to mute your mics, but if you, I'm going to set it where you can unmute yourself if you have a question or if I lose connection here. All right, so this is the side situation. So what I need to do is once I have side, I'm going to be looking for the largest angle first. So whenever we're given all three sides, look for the largest angle first. So I'm going to look at my sides. Notice the 1240, this side length, which is little c, is going to be the biggest side. This is little a, and this is little b. So I'm going to be finding angle C first. Whenever it's a side situation, you have to find the largest angle first. So let's go ahead and set up my law of cosines. So I'm going to be doing C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times the cosine of C. So I'm going to fill in what I know. I know 1240 squared, 965 squared, 876 squared minus 2 times 965 times 876 times the cosine of C. Now, when you're doing a problem like this, we can't do this continuous in our calculator. So you can do this if you want. You could move these two to the other side. I could figure them all out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these first before I square them, just before I get big numbers. I'm going to move both of these to the other side. So I'm going to subtract both of these from both sides. So now my problem is 1,240 squared minus 965 squared minus 876 squared equals negative 2 times 965 times 876 times the cosine of C. So I'm going to be multiplying this. I'm going to be squaring this, this, and this. After I square them, I'm going to subtract these two. So let me go ahead and simplify this side of my equation. I can show you what I'm getting as I'm squaring if you'd like. So 1,240 squared gives me 1537600. 965 squared gives me 931225, and then the 876 squared gives me 767376. I'll go ahead and combine these three. This is just a random mark here. So 1537600 minus this, and you can do this continuous on your calculator, gives me negative 9.3122. Let me just do this by hand. Hold on. 1537600 minus. Okay, and this gives me negative 161,001. I'm going to multiply these three things right here. So negative 2 times 965 times 876 gives me negative 1690680 cosine C. I need to divide both sides because I need to isolate cosine C. And now I get, when I divide, I get 0.0952285,471 equals cosine C. Remember, whenever you're looking for an angle measure, we're going to be doing cosine negative 1 of this decimal. Second cosine, and then I'll do second answer so I can get it just to show up into my calculator. And this is going to give me angle C is approximately equal to 84.5 because I'm getting 84.53. Now, in the answers that were posted in the file, they were given as decimal in degrees and minutes. You can leave it as a decimal degree. So let me go ahead back up to my picture here. So now I know angle C is 84.5 degrees. Now that I found that, now I'm going to use that information and I'm going to do law of sines. So I'm going to use my 84.5 along with my little c that was given to me. Go back up here. Little c is 1240 over sine 84.5. And now I'm going to go back and see what other side I'm going to find. Go back. And now I can look here and I'm going to find the smaller angle. I'm going to go ahead and find angle B. So sine of angle B, and little b is 876. All right, any questions so far? Can you guys still see my screen? Yes? All right. So now let me go ahead and find angle B. I'm going to cross multiply. So sine of B, 1240, equals sine of 84.5 times 876. Divide by 1240. So sine of B is equal to, and now I'll do this on my calculator, sine 84.5, multiply that, divide it, 1240, and the sine of B is equal to 0.703199248. Again, I'm looking for angle B. So I'm going to do -1. I'm going to put this decimal in there. So sine -1. Second answer. And my measure of my angle for angle B is 44.68. So I'm going to make it 44.7 degrees. Let me go back up. 44.7. So when you're done, you need to have filled in and found the 3 sides, which were already given to me, and then all 3 angles. Now to find the last angle, I can just use my triangle sum theorem. I can add 84.5 plus 44.7. Once I get that total, I can subtract it from 180. This is 129.2. So 180 minus that, and I get 50.8. And that's going to be the measure of angle A. And that was it on this one. Pretty good on 27. All right, let me do number 31. Again, I'm going to draw a picture. Again, it's not drawn to scale. So A, B, C. Angle B is 74.80. It's actually in decimal degrees. Little a is 8.919, and these are inches. Little c is 6.427 inches. So I don't know little b, and I don't know little c, let's see, I don't know angle A, angle C, or little b. This is going to be my side angle, let's see, side angle side scenario. So let's go ahead and see what we do for a side angle side. So for side angle side, I'm going to go for, I need to find the side of the angle that's given to me. So I'm going to be looking for little b first. So I can do b squared. And then I'm going to be doing a squared plus c squared minus 2 times a times c times the cosine of the letter I'm looking for. So these two need to match, these two letters. And then you put the other 2 letters in this part of it. So let's fill in what we know, or what we don't know. We don't know little b. I know little a is 8.919. I'm going to square that. Little c, 6.427. And then 2 times 8.919 times 6.427 times the cosine of 74.8. Now, this one you could actually do continuous in your calculator. However, you might want to use parentheses. Let me go ahead and I'll show you what I get each time. I'll square them all individually. So b squared. So I'm going to square this one. 8.919 squared gives me 79.548561. I'll square this one. 6.427. And again, you can do this continuous on your calculator. You don't necessarily need to be writing down all these little steps. When you're taking the quiz next week, I would definitely show me what you're plugging in. That way, in case you're messing up, I can see that you did use the correct formula. Next thing I'm going to do is just multiply these 3 numbers. So I'm going to do -2 times 8.919 times 6.427. And I get 114,644,826. I also need to do the cosine of 74.8. which gives me 0.2621891786. So now what I need to do is I'll multiply these two, and then I can add that total to these two. So let me go ahead and just multiply this. And this gives me negative 30.058663276. I'm going to add it to these two numbers. I'm just going to rewrite these two. So let me go ahead and add 79.548561 plus 41.0363329. And this gives me b squared is equal to 90.79625,724. I need to square root both sides. And this is going to end up giving me little b to be approximately equal to 9.5. We can round it to the 10th place. I know in the book they put 9.529 inches. Let's just make it 9.5. Okay, so that's little b. Everybody good so far? All right. So now I can use law of sines. Law of sines is a lot easier than this whole huge formula for law of cosines. So I'm going to use my original given. So I'm going to be doing what I just calculated, the 9.5. I'm going to do sine of 74.8. And now what I need to do is, of the two remaining angles, I need to find the smaller one first. And the way that I can tell which one is smaller, either A or C, is I look to see what side is across from it. So my smaller angle here is going to be C, because angle C is across from the 6.4. So let me go ahead and do little c is 6.427 over the sine of c. And now cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to do sine of c times 9.5 equals the sine of 74.8 times 6.427, divide by 9.5, sine of c, and then I'm going to multiply these two and then divide by 9.5. So sine 74.8 times 6.427 divided by 9.5, and I get sine of c is equal to 0.6528590,537. Again, I want an angle measure, so what I need to do is take this decimal and do the inverse. So second sine, second answer, and my angle C is equal to 75, so I'm going to make it 40.8 degrees. They ended up getting 40.6 because they ended up probably using up here instead of just 9.5. They used more numbers here. So again, because we rounded it, ours is off a little bit. So now I have, if I go back to my picture, angle C is 40.8. So again, remember, we're trying to find three angle measures. So far, I have two. I already have all three sides. So to find the last missing angle, I'm going to do my triangle sum theorem. Yes, you could do another law of sines, but it's a lot easier just to take 40.8, add that to 74.8. So 40.8 plus 74.8, and I get 115.6. Subtract that from 180. and I get 64.4 degrees. And that's going to be angle A. Any other questions you want to see worked out? Okay, so my advice to you is work with your calculator. You need to practice with this because that's going to be the biggest difficulty, especially when you start out by having to use law of cosines. A lot of common mistakes are, instead of right here when we first started out, people do sine. Remember, the law of cosines is that long formula. Once you have to use law of cosines first, then the second step you can actually use law of sines. Law of sines, it's a lot easier. It's just a proportion. All right, anyone have any questions? Any other ones you want to see? Now, the video I'm going to post for A period, they wanted to see a lot more problems. So if there were other problems that maybe you didn't get and you need to see extra practice problems, you can always watch their video. And again, you can always email me and I can send you how it was all worked out. So your homework that's due on Wednesday is the quiz review. Again, you should be practicing with your calculator. And if you have questions on Wednesday, I'm going to work out the quiz review. After Wednesday, I won't see you again until the following Wednesday, which is the day of your quiz. I believe on Canvas I need to change the date of it. It's not this week, it's next week. So your quiz is next week because we don't have school on Thursday or Friday this week. And then we don't have school Monday. So I'll see you on Wednesday, and then I won't see you again until the following Wednesday. All right, any other ones that you want to see worked out? No? Anybody have any questions about anything? Everybody's good? All right. Let's see. Let me stop sharing my screen here for a minute. All right. So no questions? All right. So if you don't have any questions, I guess you can go ahead and you can start working on your review. And then what I'll end up doing is after the review is due, I will post the solution file on Wednesday. And then, or actually I'm going to work it out in class. I'll probably work it out in class. If you need to see additional problems, I can do that on Wednesday also. So you will be taking your quiz on Wednesday on Canvas just like before. You will have to submit your work. No work, no credit for the question. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the correct answers for your quiz. So I'm going to go back in and reset up the quiz so you can see which ones you got wrong and you can see the correct answers. Because the following week, not next week, but the week after, you're going to take a test. And the test is going to be on 7-6, 8-1, and 8-2. So on the three questions, or the three sections. So the two quizzes that we're taking, that's going to be your test again. Any questions? All right.
What does 7-6 include? Like, what lessons?
7-6 was what you took the quiz on last week. It was the solving the trig equations. Okay. We're not sure if we're going to require lockdown browser for the test. I believe for the quiz we're not. So, so for now, have your formula sheet ready. But again, for the quiz on next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but the next, you need to show work, just like before. Anybody else have any other? I'm sorry?
Are we going to go over the quiz?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to release it and because the problem is there were so many different questions that you could have gotten. So what I can do is, the way that this new schedule is set up, I could actually set up a Zoom meeting if you wanted to go over individual questions. Or you could email it to me, the ones that you get wrong, once I release the ones that you got wrong. You can email me and I can send it back to you. And I can work it out for you. The common mistakes that happen were people factored the problem, but then they only found the angles for one of the factors. They forgot to do the other factors. So that was a common mistake that I saw. So what I'll do is I'm going to release those answers, and then if you have questions, shoot me an email and I can work out that question for you. Because your number one might be different than, say, Jillian's. Or your number one might, it's going to be totally different because we pulled it from a bank of so many questions. Does that make sense? So that's why I can't just put it up here and say, okay, this was version A, this was version B. There was probably, in this class, 28 different versions because it scrambled and gave everybody a different question. You might have found someone that had the same number one, but a different number two. So,
Yeah,
okay. So once I release it, if you still have questions, shoot me an email. If you need to see me, through a Zoom call, we can do that. Otherwise, I'll just work it out for you. Any other questions? So I would definitely review your quiz once I release it because that's what's going to be on the test in 2 weeks. Anybody have any other questions? All right, so I guess we're done here. I know we still have another 10 minutes, but anybody need to see anything else? All right, so again, if you find anything that you need help with, just send me an email and I'll reach back out to you. But again, every day now until 2:30, I'll be on my email answering questions if you encounter anything. That's it. All right, so I will see you guys on Wednesday. Your homework, you can start on it now if you want. Otherwise, work on it this afternoon. But your homework is that quiz review and it's due on Wednesday. That's it. All right, everybody have a good day.
You too.
All right, thank you. All right, bye.
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 Bye.